Hi there, and welcome to today's Friday Live. This is one of my favorite times of the week where I get to come on and connect with you and share some insight and wisdom that you can use to make shifts in your business and get amazing results. And we're going to be talking about stress and challenges that you're dealing with in your company right now, and very simple solutions that can be implemented to create innovation in your company, to create innovation in the marketplace, amazing customer experiences, sales, marketing, everything works so much better. And you get to have that company that you always dreamed of having. So I want you to imagine for a moment you're a multi six figure business owner. If you're in my audience, you're probably there, or maybe even higher beyond that. You're a multi six figure business owner and you have your company, and everything is stressful. Like, is this you? Just like everything feels stressful. And I get it. You may not want to say in the comments, you may not want to admit it to yourself, but when I'm talking to you on the phone, or we're on Zoom, or we're meeting face to face, I can hear the tension in your voice. And usually, when you're dealing with a lot of stress, you will start to have physical manifestations of the stress as well. Not only those mental and emotional effects, but you'll start to have different ailments and things, stress related health things that will pop up, whether it's migraines all the way to stiff shoulders, stiff back, all of those things from repetitive motion, but just also the stress of the repeated thoughts and the constant tension that you carry in your body will start to manifest into physical pain as a result of that, and it not being resolved. So when we're talking about ways that you're running your business and challenges and stresses that are at the foundational operational level of your company, they don't just manifest inside of your business, right? They also manifest in your physical body, with your relationships, with your partner, with your kids, with your team. It just has this huge ripple effect. And when it goes on and it's just like the normal way of doing business, there's this part of you where you're split because it doesn't have to be this way, because you had a vision in your mind that your business was going to be a certain way, and that you were going to love your business, and you were going to work with amazing clients, and you were going to do this purposeful work, whatever it is, whether it's as a marketing agency, whether it's as you own a SaaS company, whether you have your own operations or VA agency, or even you're a coach and you're a trainer and you're a speaker. Like, you have all of these visions of what that's going to look like, and that really drives you to start the business and continue to run the business. So you have that vision, that's sort of like utopia or Shangri-La in the back of your mind, of like, this is really what I'm working toward. This is really what I want. And it's what keeps you going, even in like the crummiest of times, the most difficult, most challenging moments, is that hope and that possibility and that vision that you want. But then there's this other part of you that is super freaking stressed, like the constant, just, it feels like a churn and a grind, and just like your thoughts and your emotions and like what you're having to deal with day to day, like nothing's ever going according to plan. And like you're putting all of your effort in and you're trying to create your best work, and like the clients aren't receiving it, they're not appreciating it, it's not being noticed, the team isn't responding, and you just feel like, gosh, everything is so hard. Like, yes, we're making money, but my gosh, like this is flipping hard. And the chances that there's a good chance that you're having a very difficult time admitting it to yourself, let alone anybody else, right? So, you may be hearing this and it may be difficult for you to even hear and like absorb. And you might even be like, no, that's not me. Like, I remember in 2013 when I was diagnosed with a chronic illness, And but actually, it was before the diagnosis happened. So I was going to the doctors, and I had the physical manifestations of stress happening in my body. Panic attacks and different things that were going on physically. And the doctor said, you got stress, and I think you should go on an anxiety medication. And I'm like, me? Stressed? What are you talking about? Oh, yeah. I was working 7 days a week. I never got a day off. I was supposed to be going on this big epic vacation. It was really super stressful. And that's when all of the health stuff started to creep up because like my body just couldn't handle it anymore. So I have been there and I know firsthand what it's like to be in that space where you literally cannot admit to yourself, let alone even know like that you have stress. It's just like, what? Like, this is just how we operate. Like, things are just hard. And we just keep taking action and doing things, hoping that it's going to improve and get better. And by doing new things and taking new actions, that's going to shift things. Right. So I've been there and I know that. So I do understand that the ability to like admit that may be hard. And so if that's you, maybe you're just listening to this to be supportive of a friend that you know who is going through something similar so that you can still stay tuned for this important message. So let's break it down. I really want to break it down because if you're not sure that this is what's happening, this is going to help you essentially diagnose part of what's going on in the company right now, part of what's challenging you. Because ultimately, it's like when we look at our companies and we want to grow our revenue, we want to be able to do more, have more, be more, all of that in the company. Revenue, profit and loss, client acquisition, all of that, client satisfaction really determine, like they show us how we're doing. Also team turnover, right? Those numbers and watching that can really show us like what's going on. But at the same time, even if we're really not connected in with those numbers on the day to day, we still have that feeling in our body of what it's like to be in our business and just how difficult and hard it is, even though we keep pushing through, right? We keep pushing through. So first of all, let's talk about the client acquisition. Okay. So if you find new client acquisition really difficult and very stressful, let's say that you are going after a market and people aren't really valuing your service and what you do. Like maybe they're getting on the consultation, maybe they're doing like your smallest package and then you're showing up, you're helping them, and then they're like, hey, we can't pay, or they're backing out early, or even maybe they're saying yes on the sales call, but then they're backing out before you can even start. And so then what happens is like, that's super stressful, right? It's like, well, I want to work with clients who value me. Like maybe I'm going for the wrong market. I want to go for clients who value our company and what we do. Maybe we're going for the wrong market. Let's pivot over here because maybe this is going to be easier. So then you find a different client acquisition strategy, say through through pitching yourself. Like you find some kind of pitch protocol that you can go through, that you can pitch your services and they get responses back. But then that process is very tedious. It's not creative at all. You don't really get to interact with people. And so it has its own set of challenges and stresses. So, okay, now you've just gone from, okay, we've got the stress of like, we're getting people who don't really value our service and don't really have the money. We don't want to go for that market. So let's shift over here and start pitching ourselves and get into something that we can get more money, and the clients that we do sign on will have more money. But then, but I have to lose out on the creative process and the connection and the things that I actually enjoy about the sales process. I basically just kind of have to give up to do this other thing, hoping that I'm going to get these bigger clients who are going to pay more money to work with us. So now we've taken care of the problem of not having people that can afford us, but we've opened up this whole other door of stress in our company, right? So that's client acquisition. That's just one example of very stressful client acquisition where, yes, you're getting clients and yes, they're coming in, but it's like it's flipping hard. And that even if you figure out a new solution, a different approach, you're still opening up this new can of worms, so to speak, that creates a whole new set of challenges. So essentially you've recreated the same problem with the hope of, okay, yeah, we're going to get the money, but we're like disregarding all of these other factors and components that are driving the day-to-day and really impacting you and your team on the day-to-day. Okay, so that's client acquisition. So then let's go to client onboarding. So then we get a new client. Let's say we find the one market where we do find somebody who values our services and they can afford us and they say yes and they move forward. Or we get a client from this pitch process that has the money and they say yes. Okay, they come in and then you go to onboard and like that's really stressful because like people don't get you stuff on time. Everything is like pulling teeth. Maybe you have to wait for that first check to come or that first payment. That invoice hasn't been paid yet, or they have special needs as around like their technology and communication points. And now it's like, oh my gosh, like I got the client in, and now it's like onboarding them is this huge laborious process. Okay, for any type of client, it's just this exhausting, laborious process. All right. And then we get into the fulfillment. And now every step of the journey, it's like, if you have a full cup, the client acquisition took some out of you, and then the onboarding took some out of you. Now we've got the fulfillment or the delivery. Now we have to deliver on the service. And so now it's like you're catering to the individual needs of each business and each business owner. And one business needs this way and one business needs it that way and the other one this way and their communication point is this way. And so now it's like you're almost like this employee in everybody else's business, right, where they get to basically dictate the terms and kind of drive what they want. And because it's like, maybe it's budget based, and so they can only afford so much, or it's, point of contact based, or they just have specific ways that they want things. And now like you're accommodating and you're catering to everyone. And that is super exhausting, right? Because like if you're the one that's still kind of leading the team and leading the company and you haven't really started to outsource like operations, even for an operations director, like that's going to be super stressful as well, because this lack of streamlining is really difficult. Now, streamlining isn't necessarily like the core solution though, but that's just like a symptom of what's going on. Okay. So you feel like you have to carry it all for the team and you're freaking exhausted, right? So now the cup is like, you're getting more depleted, you're getting more drained. And then it's time to like renew the client. We're going to sell them into the next thing, or we're going to upsell them into a new offer, whatever it is. And now it's like, oh my gosh, I have to have that sales conversation. You're like pulling out your hair, like, I don't even know if I want to work with this business anymore. I don't even know if I want to run my business anymore. Like you're just pulling out your freaking hair. You're so freaking stressful, grinding your teeth. The headaches are coming on, like all of that. And the client, like they're dragging their feet. They're not renewing. Like, what is going on? I thought that they were happy with their service. We catered to every one of their needs. We gave them everything we gave them all this grace with their payments and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, oh my gosh. And the tension and the stress. And this is so common. This is so common. And then we think, if I get a better client acquisition strategy, that'll work. Maybe I need an operations manager because they'll just like take over all of this. Like they'll help. And maybe that will help some, but then they're the ones with the octopus arms that are like trying to like juggle all the cords and all the strings and all of the things. And then they probably have a high turnover. You probably have a high turnover in that role. And they're looking for their next thing because it's like, this is not sustainable for me, like, because it's being dictated by the owner. Or you get somebody who's kind of an energetic match for that. And even though they can streamline and put processes in place, like they don't really have the confidence and leadership to like direct the company into a new level. So you can keep recreating and kind of attracting the same things at that same vibrational rate, because that's just what you're a match for right now. Because as the owner, like you're not changing your thinking and you're not changing your approach and your mindset. And so you're recreating this different scenario, the same scenario in all these different, experiences with people and circumstances and relationships. So you can try and like, or go join a coaching program, right? Go hire a consultant to help you like do this thing to like fix this one problem. When you have a core strategy issue in your business, you have a core strategy problem in your whole company, and it is such a simple fix. It's like the simplest fix ever, like ever, ever, ever. And the reason that it seems like difficult or hard or whatever is because it's really not what's taught online in programs, with different mentorships, in various ways that you learn, podcasts, things like that. Nobody's talking about it in this way, especially in that end-to-end A to Z process that I'm talking about, built around the whole client journey. And so often you're going to get these kind of piecemeal, like, oh, go fix your offer. Oh, go fix your processes. Oh, go hire an operations person. Oh, fix your marketing and, refine, like target better people. Fix your sales process. Let's fix your script. Let's get better qualification, right? So we have like all of these surface level things, and you probably are investing in some of those right now. Or you were like, oh my gosh, I'm just done. Like, I'm just going to DIY it because like I keep investing and like nothing's helping me like get to that next level. Like I keep spending 10s, 20, 30, 40, 50, $100,000 on this like new thing. And like, I'm still right here where I was at the beginning. I don't feel like I'm making the headway that I thought that I would. Right. So you could be in any of those scenarios. And it's just because of what's taught. It's very piecemealed. And the truth is that most people out there don't come from the innovation perspective. They don't come from the whole client journey perspective. They don't understand how sales and marketing and fulfillment all work together in that sort of like revenue operations kind of capacity. And so there's all these pieces that play in. And so if we haven't met yet, I am an innovative sales strategist. And so while sales and revenue are like my specialty in closing deals, I found in many, many years of working with clients and supporting millions and millions of dollars in sales and revenue coming in, that there were these foundational problems in companies that weren't being addressed, that were basically costing them money, costing them revenue, and like paying them all of this stress, and not really being able to reach that level that they want to. And it's because that they don't have the access to this information and this transformation that I'm talking about. So the simple solution is to align everything with the problem that you solve. What is that core problem that you solve for businesses? So most of you are focusing on the function, okay? And I did this for a long time, even with my sales consulting, where I focused on the function of it. It's like, hey, I can help you with a new script. I can help you with the marketing side and like streamlining your marketing team with your sales. And I can help you, bring on your next salesperson and streamline your hiring and all that. And that is all beautiful. And it serves a great function in the business. But when we look at humanity and business owners, and it's okay if you're going with like B2B, like high level corporate deals, complex sales cycles, all of that. It applies just as much to the B2C realm, because you're still dealing with personalities and other humans, and there are trade-offs and lifing all of those things, right? That impact our ability to be able to make those purchase decisions with confidence, or, not make those purchase decisions, right? So it applies across the board, no matter where you're selling. But I saw time and time again how the sort of like siloed approach to like, here's the thing that I do, and then we don't really look at the whole company, or we don't address it in a way that really solves a core problem for a business owner. It helps, but it's not like the big solution that people are really looking for, where you can get that long-term loyalty and really take your clients on a long-term journey with you, because you really understand the problems that you solve. And then you have solutions that are geared toward those problems that you solve. Okay. So that's the simple answer, y'all. Like, that's it. It's, what problem am I solving? Boom. Like, that's it. Now, if it were as easy as what you learn in different capacities, go do market research, voice of customer, what do they need? Let's get their words and what they need, and then let's put it into an offer. Or let's just do our ideas, right? Let's like all brainstorm how we can serve people. And then, or we bring from a past career, something that we did in the past. I did that, where I had a big contract, big client, and I took what I did and I built a new business around that, around the consulting side, sales consulting. And so like, we'll do that, right? Because there's like, hey, there was a need here. Let's just take it over into the business. But then we're unique people, right? So like, how it was solved in corporate doesn't necessarily, or with a contractor, wherever, doesn't necessarily match like your market, because like you have your own brand and you have your own company and you have your own team and you have your own vibe. And so there's like these nuances. So when you're super clear on the problem that you solve, because this is the first piece, right? That's going to help you get better people in the door. When you're clear on the problem that you solve, it helps with marketing, it helps with sales, because you're more confident, or your sales reps are more confident in understanding how to really communicate to that buyer. You also attract more people in, you become more magnetic. I talk about that all the time. I'm a big proponent and believer in magnetism, in our auric fields and in our energy, just as much as the strategy piece. Because I've just learned that when I'm all logic and I'm all linear and I'm all like, in my head, and I'm not really thinking about the energy and the emotion and the intention and the mindset behind all of it, like the results just don't flow in like they do when I'm like whole self on board with the whole thing. And, it's taken me a really long time to be unapologetic about that intuitive side of me and how that operates, because it's night and day when it comes to the results of what, logic, linear approach, leave your feelings at the doorstep approach versus the whole self on board. And this is leadership in business in the 21st century, and where we're heading, right? Like, this is such a big part of it, in owning who we are unapologetically and being professional too. So when we're investing and we're doing things, and we're doing those piecemeal things, and we're doing those silos and all of that, we lose sight. And so when we're clear on that problem that we solve, and like, this is the problem now, client acquisition is easier and all of that. Okay, it's like, now we've tackled that problem. How do we now tackle the onboarding and the fulfillment and the renewal? Well, basically, it's all reverse engineered to solve that client's problem and really provide solutions in a way that works for them. So you want to have it so where they're like, oh my gosh, like, this is going to help me win. I'm going to be so successful, because they understand like the whole process of onboarding and fulfillment and delivery is designed to solve the problem. And so now you're not having to customize to everything and cater to everybody's whim and all of that, because everybody's coming in for the same reason. They have the same problem. They want that solution that you offer, and you have the proven steps to do it. Of course, it takes iteration to refine and perfect. This is a long game strategy. You can set it up and get it running and iterate and improve and refine as you go. But it's such a different approach to like either customizing everything for everyone or just having this like kind of one and done program that everybody can come through, like, like it or not, love it or leave it. This is just the way it is. Those are very polarized, contrasting examples, but it's like this very customized journey for that specific problem and how you solve that problem. And this is really where your scalability comes in, your growth comes in, your company culture is transformed, and all of that stress is just like it melts away. I mean, for me, when I figured this out, it was such a game changer for me. Like, I went from feeling resistant around selling. And even though I'm like, I love selling, I was very stressed out about selling my offers because I was dealing with a lot of what was described and I've seen this so many times too in meetings with entrepreneurs and business owners, that like selling the thing becomes really stressful because you're having to like cater to all the personalities and like, customize things and do things for everyone. And it's just because like you're not super clear on what you're selling. Like, even though you have a package and you have an offer and you have a thing that you can help people with, there's this lack of clarity around the problem that you solve and the unique way that your business solves it. And that's it. That's it, y'all. Like, that's how it all turns around and shifts. And if this is something you're like, I feel like I've tried all the things, but maybe Celia, maybe what you're talking about, you're really speaking my language and you're really talking about a lot of the challenges that I'm dealing with. I invite you to book a revenue acceleration call with me. You can book that at my website or on my LinkedIn personal page, my featured section on my profile page. It is my personal page. But that's also celiafaymeisel.com, and get the revenue acceleration call while they are available. We're changing our process. So we have limited availability and limited time availability on those before we shift our process around. So you can get that at no cost at this time. And what I'll do is I will dig into your business and really help you see some shifts that you can make to simplify and to create that ease and reduce the stress while accelerating revenue and, getting into that new level in your business where everything isn't so flipping hard. How does that sound? All right. Until next time, thanks for joining the live stream. This is Celia Faye Meisel, and I will see you on the next Friday Live. Let me know in the comments what your takeaway was. Bye-bye.